If you can just share where you're coming from, those of you that are here live, so we know where this energy is being blasted. I'm very excited to be sharing with you all a lot about what's happening this retrograde season, understanding why we're seeing things the way that they are unfolding in 2020, alongside what it really takes to be a successful mentor, and what has been the biggest deceptions that have been going on in the coaching industry, and how all of this is going to shift. So while we're waiting for more people to come on, hi everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm excited. Honestly, I've been wanting to do this webinar for a while, and because next week is going to be my last week and of being here, and then I'm taking a 3-week sabbatical to finish writing my book and to prepare for the upgrade and the bless up my business is navigating through, as well as myself. And I'm really excited to share with you what's coming through from all of this. So I'm going to wait 1 more minute and then we'll get started. So just to make sure everyone else gets on. I really want to also hear, what is it that you're really calling in for the rest of 2020? I want to hear what it is you're ready to activate, what it is you're ready to align to, and really experience with the rest of this year. So if you can share that in the chat room, let me know. And just so I can see the energy of what we're navigating through. I'm also having really wild deja vu right now. So that's how I know I'm like right on task. And then we'll just wait a couple more minutes and then I'll get started. Got my citrine here to speak truth. Yes, so much shadow work and ready to go the fuck off. I love that. Activate your purpose, rebuild my life as a single mom. Beautiful. You've got this. Do not disturb my things, right? All of that to be fully present with you all. All right. So I'm going to get started. Welcome to Deception in the Coaching Industry. My name's Sabrina Riccio, and I am a spiritual brand alchemist. And my whole mission here is to really help modern spiritual entrepreneurs really slay their mission and bless up their business. And if you've been following me for a while, whether it be through the Sovereign Society podcast, whether it be on Instagram, my newly activated YouTube channel, which I'm excited to be sharing more with you about as well. You know here that I do my best to keep it raw and real and authentic with you all. And a huge part of that is because I think it's been the biggest thing missing in the coaching industry. And this is something that I really want you all to understand, is that I've been a coach since 2013, straight up. Like, I got my certification back in 2013. The year before, I was struck by lightning. I'm actually approaching my 8-year anniversary, and I'm closing out my 7-year cycle with that in the next upcoming weeks, which is why I'm taking a break. Every 7 years, our cells regenerate, recalibrate, and we have a whole new body, right? We have all new cells, a whole new body. So I'm going into the last of closing out the cycle, finishing writing my book, and a lot of it is going to be talking about what I'm sharing with you here. I was hungry, right? When I started my spiritual journey, I was hungry for answers, and I took in everything, every information I can, read all the books everyone else was reading, and found out that a lot of it has actually been infiltrated, or it's false light. And the truth is, a lot of spiritual teachers aren't talking about this, but I think it's one of the most important conversations we need to talk about, is that we have been stuck in consciousness traps and loops. And one of the big false teachings out there that I was a devotee to is A Course in Miracles. And I fell into that trap. I remember I met Marianne Williamson at my fucking rock bottom. This was like probably 5 4 or 5 days after 12/21/12, when everyone thought the world was going to end, right? And I went to her and I was just so lost. And I was like, what do I do? And she was like, start with the return to love and then dive into A Course in Miracles. I was a devotee. Literally, I went through that whole book 3 times, going from like lesson 1 to lesson 365, reading, and that was my Bible. And something that I realized though was that that book kept me in consciousness trap. Like here I would complete it and then I'd go back and I'd go back into this loop. And I wasn't finding the results. I was getting stuck, right? I had that initiation accelerating from that 3D earth plane, wanting to make my way to the 5D unity consciousness, but I was trapped in this 4D time reality where I had like false gods and really gave my power away to spiritual teachings that were infiltrated. Side note, A Course in Miracles was written by an atheist and someone in the CIA, and it's been used as a mind control text to keep you stuck in this box, okay? Luckily, working with different psychics and plant medicine, ayahuasca, peyote, psilocybin, I've been able to see and break through that. And that's something that I'm really wanting you all to see, is that the challenge with a lot of what's going on in the coaching industry is that they are teaching either outdated or infiltrated spiritual teachings, plain and simple. And it may be hard for you to grasp. It was definitely like a grieving period because I was so devoted to these texts. But once I started seeing the truth and seeing what was actually going on, it was confirmation, like, holy shit, like I've been doing this work and I'm not seeing any growth. It's like I'm stuck in this loop, stuck in this loop, stuck in this loop. Something is off. And so it's really important to understand that because I've done that deeper work, like that really, really deep work, which a lot of coaches, I believe, aren't doing that deep shit work, I was able to see the infiltration right there, right now. And as soon as I took it out, I actually burned my A Course in Miracles, and I burned a lot of these certification programs and things that I thought I needed in order to get to a space. My life started opening up and the alignment, synchronicities, opportunities really started to show up. I'm talking invited to go teach at the UN. I'm talking invited to teach business and marketing at universities. I'm talking finishing a book, attracting in and calling in people to have conversations with on my podcast that are woke and on to this shit. And so understand that while the coaching industry is becoming oversaturated and everyone thinks that they can just become a coach, and it's really beautiful to see people wanting to do the work and do, you know, what they're here to do, there's a bigger thing we need to really understand and we really need to look at. And that is seeing that we have to practice discernment with the people we follow. These people, these teachers that have been doing or teaching or really implementing a lot of the false light, it's like a cookie cutter approach to spirituality. Real spirituality comes when you are devoted to doing the deep work, which means doing that deep inner child work, which means honoring your, you know, your core wounds, what have been the ancestral patterns. And I've been teaching this for 4 years and I've been living it for 8. And so that's why I'm closing this chapter of it. I've created tons of resources, including my last round of Thrive, which I'm doing right now. And I'm focusing on evolving into more business and branding because I want to see, I'm sure many of you who are watching this have been doing that deeper work. And I want you to see that it's time for you to get out of those consciousness traps, because we can't keep, it's like, if we keep doing the work and we think we're not there yet, or we're not actually implementing what we've learned, again, we go in those consciousness traps and loops, and it's like peeling off the scab before it's actually healed, right? If we can come into this solidification of being like, no, it ends here, I'm in my sovereign power and I'm doing what I can do, that's when we start to up level into the next space. How do I know? That's where I'm at right now. Me finishing my book is about, it's my story. So me writing it and saying like, this doesn't have power over me anymore is allowing me to upgrade and accelerate to the next level. And so with these people that are on social media, a lot of them are really good at marketing and social media. And I have my degree in marketing and sociology. So I've been studying this shit. I've been watching this shit unfold, okay? And I got caught up in it. I got caught up in it when I started my business. It was like, oh, I need to be friends with these people in order to, like, validation, right? Or like, they're doing it right. This means that like, I'm going to see, like, I'm going to do what they're doing and it's going to work right. Not happening. There really isn't a cookie cutter approach to success that you have to understand. It's really determined on the strength of your nervous system and the consistency and the intentional planning. And so that strength of your nervous system, if you still have unprocessed trauma or childhood wounds that maybe you've been spiritually bypassing, because a lot of these spiritual teachers have spiritual bypass the shit, because it's not pretty and it's not marketable or like can tarnish their brand. It's full of shit, right? So 2020 Crystal Vision is about you recognizing what's real and what's being an illusion, what's deception. That illusion is that 4D trap that we are in. Also 5D, that 5D consciousness, that unity consciousness we're working through has also been infiltrated years back. And I saw all of this, right? Like everything that's happening in the world right now, I saw all this unfolding in 2012. Then at the end of August 30th, I was struck by lightning because I had so many entities that were attached to my energetic field that came in through a weakened aura. That weakened aura was because I had so many holes inside my auric field from traumas that were unprocessed. And because I just opened myself up and surrendered and pretty much sold my soul to the new age movement, I was like, I don't want to say a victim to it, but I just allowed I wasn't in my sovereign power. And so it's really, really important for you to understand that a lot of the spiritual teachers out there, they haven't done that deep, ugly, nasty shit work. Like, it's gross, right? But what comes from that is allowing you to build on a solid foundation. And I had this download last night where, you know, with the Lionsgate, so I'm still wearing my little like lion cheetah-esque vibe. But I had this download is this the energy that's going to be our new normal, that now we have to work with our tools to navigate through? This is something I really want you to think about. I feel like discernment is going to be a non-negotiable in these times. I'm going to feel like boundaries, non-negotiable during these times. And we weren't taught this shit, okay? So here you are. This is just through my experience. I was lost, right? And I'm like looking for anything that I can, like, please just help me get through this. I still had a lot of low self-worth, low self-esteem, but I saw people who are really good at perceiving on social media this beautiful lifestyle that I wanted. But then I became friends with them and I realized they're full of shit. Plain and simple, they're full of shit because this is what sells, right? Like filters and like really nice copy or like photo shoots and like really beautiful Instagram posts and like all these things that are surface level shit. There's going to be no more room for that. And our bullshit meter is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And so we need to understand and really see that all of this that's coming up in 2020, this 2020 Crystal Vision, we're seeing a lot of this because most of us have started doing that deeper work, right? You're seeing the patterns, what's being reflected back to you and saying like, ooh, I don't consent to this, or like, ooh, this is where I want to go. And this is the time where I really invite you to ask yourself, why are you following the certain people you are on social media? Are they actually giving you sharing with you important information? Or is it like you're fantasizing their life? Are they actually helping you accelerate into your sovereign power? Or are they making you feel like belittled because you want that, but you don't have that, right? Is there also jealousy? Is there like anger towards those people? Where can you take a break and come back to you? And so I just want you to understand that we are transcending beyond the love and light. And I definitely, victim, like how many of you ended your emails at a point in time being like, love and light? Guilty, fucking guilty. Because I thought that's what you would do, right? That's what would make me get out of this shit. It's like love and light. But if that light's infiltrated and it's an illusion, because that's what this 4D has brought us, this time reality is keeping us stuck in these traps. And the infiltrated 5D reality is, it's like the upside down in Stranger Things, right? Like we're seeing a whole different thing that's going on. And this is why the shit is going on in the world right now, is because there is a spiritual war happening. There is a galactic war happening. And we all came here on a fucking mission, especially if you're gravitating, for instance, to like my information, my teachings or whatever, you know, you're here on mission. You know that like you're here to do something big. And you can be sensitive. There's blessings in those sensitivities, and we need to see those as strengths to have that discernment, right? And we need to understand we weren't taught boundaries. How many of you were taught boundaries as a kid? I sure as the hell wasn't, right? And I was a people pleaser. How many of you are recovering people pleasers? Guilty, right? Like, just wanted to make sure that everyone was taken care of, that everyone was honored, that putting the oxygen mask on after everyone else. Want to make sure everyone else is okay. And then like, okay, cool. Now I can take care of myself. Definitely guilty of that because I had very low self-worth and a lot of childhood trauma of worthiness, right? I just wanted to please other people. And these are the things that we need to understand. A lot of these coaches, first of all, they are chasing this like celebrity, spiritual, like celebrity, right? Like all these people now with a blue check mark who are big on social media, they become like the new celebrities in this world. Again, if they have been stuck in false light teachings, false light spiritual teachings, outdated spiritual teachings like The Secret, law of attraction, all of these things are outdated. We are in 2020. We are in a whole new millennia. We are in a whole new age. Those teachings, they may have brought you to where you are, but there's actually bigger thing, more than just a law of attraction where I'm going to close my eyes and visualize it and it's going to come. You got to take action. Part of that action is recognizing what patterns, what limiting beliefs, what conditions are still holding you back. But a lot of people aren't teaching that. They're not talking about the nitty-gritty shit that needs to be looked at if you want to actually alchemize and align. Because otherwise, I know for me, like I thought I had it all, but I was still miserable on the inside. The material world didn't mean shit to me because inside I still felt empty. And that's the problem. In social media, they're showing this beautiful lifestyle, which if you want that lifestyle, amazing. But ask the bigger intention, and the bigger question is, why am I choosing to be this mentor? Why am I choosing to be this coach? Why am I choosing to answer the call? Is it for the material gains, or is it to actually revolutionize the world with your medicine and to implement real change? Like, what is the legacy you're choosing to leave behind that comes with integrity and honesty and transparency and realness? I want you to really think about that. How many of those spiritual teachers out there are that you're following are just showcasing their beautiful life? I mean, granted, a part of the blessing of quarantine is that no one can fucking go anywhere, really. So they've had to be at home and really realize what's actually important. What's actually what is this meaning to life? I want you to really think about that and understand who are the people that you follow that are just showing the highlights of their lives, but they're not talking about like the shit that they're working through, like vulnerably, transparently. That's something that's become a non-negotiable for me. And I get messages from people all the time saying, I appreciate how honest and real you are, or I'm like dancing naked or in a towel or like crying or talking about shit that's going on. I think those are important because that's what brings us real human connection. And this Aquarian age is about connection. And we connect on a deeper level when we can be transparent and honest and real. And some of us are afraid to share that truth, okay? And you have to think about if you are still having a lot of core wounds. I teach this in Thrive. If you're still having a lot of core wounds between the ages of ancestral till about 23, you are going to have not only holes in your auric field, but you're going to have a weaker lower triangle. That lower triangle consists of the lower 3 chakras. And once you've been able to do that deep work of healing the core wounds, healing those pubescent, like, you know, the things that you went through in high school, middle school, college, if you decided to go to school, college, if there's still like wounds and resentments and pain that is running the show in your life or has been unprocessed or healed, you're not going to be able to fully live in your heart center. And there's the chakra system is also being upgraded. A lot of spiritual teachers haven't really shared that before, but the chakra system is being updated because that old system, if we are vibrating and accelerating into the new earth, 5D unity consciousness, you have to understand that there's outdated systems that are no longer in service. That's why I'm saying like books like The Secret, Law of Attraction, they don't actually support these new frequencies that we are accelerating into. They have to be upgraded, just like your computer system needs to be upgraded, right? This is like an experience, right? You are here, your soul is in this vessel in your body, and to be able to get to the next level and to be able to get to the next part of your spiritual evolution, your soul's evolution, your human experience, this vessel here needs to be upgraded with you. Okay. So we're shifting into a 3 chakra system where we'll have the lower triangle, the heart, and then the upper triangle. The shit that's going on in the world, because it doesn't matter if it's the coaching industry or the mainstream media, these leaders that are dictating shit in these industries, a lot of them are stuck in this upper triangle, all being guided by ego because they have completely spiritually bypassed the shit from the lower triangle, from the lower 3 chakras. And so they're not thinking with their feet on the ground, okay? And we need to understand that if you are bypassing this, you're not going to live in your heart centered, where you're not living unconditionally with compassion, with mercy, with empathy. And this is the time for us to see and recognize where is the suffering in the world and how can I really show up and step up. And if you guys have any questions, also, I'm going to be doing Q&A at the end. But I would love to hear, you know, let me know in the chat box how this is resonating with you. Because the biggest thing I just really want you to understand is that with a lot of these coaches that have big followings, you know, most of them are paid. You can tell, like if you see people with big numbers and it's just not, there's not that, their engagement isn't there, right? Doesn't matter. You can buy followers on Instagram and make it look like you have a big following, but the shit you're delivering is full of shit. And so understand that a lot of those teachers are still in consciousness trapped themselves. So that's where I can have compassion, right? I'm very compassionate towards those people because I've been in that position. And that's the thing I really want you to understand. The things that you've navigated through and you've been able to overcome, once you're able to be in that, like overcome and get to the other side, you have the power to lead people, like genuinely lead and share the warts and all. When I started as a spiritual coach, like I said, I invested tens of thousands of dollars into coaching programs. Some were my friends too. And then I got into the program. One program was $28,000 for the year. I spent $8,000 in, and I didn't learn jack shit. She was really good at, you know, selling it. But once I got in, it was stagnant for me. And I didn't feel as supported, and it just was hurting. Of course, I'm getting a phone call right now. And sorry about that. I got my disturbs on here. And so you have to understand that it's not about like the pretty, like, where is the integrity of the teachings that are being shared through their social media, through the podcast, through their everyday essence, right? And so those people have been manipulated by the false light, and a lot of them think that they're doing the right thing or they're right on task, but this false light is still preying, as I talked about on the Sovereign Society podcast about the reptilians and these lower dimensional beings, which can be very like out there for some people, but this is where I'm choosing to step up and speak my truth and share the shit I've learned along the way. And I've had to navigate these interfaces for the last 8 years. And this is the way that I'm choosing to reclaim my power from the fucking false light, is by calling it out. Okay, so I'm going to be transparent. I don't give a fuck if it ruins or tarnishes my brand. This is part of who I am. And so I'm sharing this with integrity and through experience, okay? And a lot of them have been infiltrated and manipulated by this false light. And these energies are preying still on people's insecurities. And you have to understand that the false light is working through these teachers who are then teaching their audience, and it's like preying on their insecurities. So when they're focusing on their marketing tactics, focusing on their weak points or their problems, if it isn't held with compassion and love, it's an infiltration that's going to keep sucking you dry. So we can also not see these spiritual teachers as false gods where they can do no wrong. That's the biggest thing that I'm seeing specifically right now in the Kundalini community. And I've been a Kundalini teacher for 6 years. I got one of my Thrive alumni in the call here right now. I see you, Carly. And she's become a Kundalini teacher as well. And she actually did a training where I did my training. And I'm so fucking grateful I did my training there in San Diego and not where the dogma, because a lot of these teachers are really implementing fucking dogma through their teachings. And so this dogma is like, if you don't do this, then you're doing it wrong. But there's actually no integrity to the teachings, or they're telling you you can't think for yourself. When I was in teacher training and I was still like in my shit, I was at Burning Man 2014. And I remember I was going to all the Kundalini classes because I needed to take all these classes to get certified. And I remember I was like, oh, I can't do anything. Like, I'm not going to smoke any weed. I can't drink. I can't do anything. Like, I was going into the dogma of the system of what I was seeing Kundalini yoga needed to be. But I was actually losing my truth and steering away from my truth. That I work with plant medicines, and they've been a huge teacher for me and a huge opportunity for me to heal. And I was doubting myself. I was discrediting my path and my journey. I was shaming myself. And none of that actually kept me in my integrity and my alignment. It wasn't until this great guy that I met in this Kundalini class was like, are you really going to listen to what this one person says that you need to do in order to be you? Then you're giving away your power. So later that day, I decided to work with psilocybin, and I had the greatest healing experience from that. But these are the things that it pries on, right? I share that because these insecurities are what these spiritual new age teachings have been prying on. And if you haven't processed them or worked through them, it's going to keep you in these loops. And so you need to understand that you need to take everything you are reading, everything you are learning with a grain of salt. Take what resonates and release the rest, okay? Because we're all sharing from our experiences as well. So if there's shit that I'm sharing with you in this webinar that isn't resonating with you, cool. Go for it. That's you being in your power. And if there is things that are resonating with you, amazing. Work with it. And see, and not question yourself, but really dive in deeper to say, like, if there's a trigger happening, right? I talked about how your triggers are your teachers. And there's also been triggers that have been infiltrated to try to lure you out of the shit. And that's what I saw through a lot of these false light teachings. And so I was seeing how there was a lot of abuse of power going on, and I allowed it because I was still really insecure. So the more you're doing that deeper healing work of like, it ends here, finding when the pattern first started, where is that core wound coming from, alchemize it, shower yourself. At that time, go back to that younger version of you. Maybe you write a letter to her, to them. Maybe you apologize. Maybe you bring forgiveness to someone and reclaim your power back. Then mission complete there, right? Those things that come in your way, they can't steer you off course anymore. And so going back to what I was sharing with like the celebrity spiritualism and being lost and just investing all of my money while I was still working on worthiness and insecurities about like, am I enough? There's the biggest problem that's been going on right now is price gouging in the spiritual community. And these cookie cutter approaches don't work. Like I said, I was enrolled in like a $28,000 thing for the year, thinking that because if I was going to invest in this big, big thing, my answers were going to be solved. That former friend of mine also told me like, oh, I'm going to help you make $750,000, like an empty promise that actually left me bigger in the hole when I did her program, because everything she taught, I already knew. But I thought that like, that was validation that I needed to show that I was worthy and enough. So that was really hard. And just because things are at a higher price point doesn't mean that the information or the content isn't going to be delivered. Just because they have a shit ton of followers on Instagram doesn't mean that when you work with them, it's going to be in integrity. And so this is where I need you to really start thinking about, if you are choosing to invest in yourself, really look at the teachers and the mentors that you're about to pay and see if their content that they've been sharing with you has actually resonated with you up until now. Has there actually been meaning, or is it just surface level basic bitch spirituality, as I call it? Like, is there actually depth to the things that you're learning? And, there's a lot of people that are really good at marketing and luring you in. A lot of these people, like before they decided to become a coach or a mentor, they worked for corporate America and they learned how to use this. A lot of corporate America has been infiltrated by these dark forces. Okay. And there's a lot of capitalism that's been infiltrated, right? So these companies that are part of the capitalism, machine that isn't in alignment with conscious capitalism, which is why I'm shifting my business to focus on marketing and business and branding to help people who've done the work, to help coaches and mentors who are ready to actually really answer the call and to revolutionize the world they've been seeing by sharing their truth and sharing tactics with really intentional marketing planning. I don't want to say strategy as much, but planning and intention, working with the cosmic energy, working with their truth, understanding their journey to bring in more conscious capitalism. I think this is how we're going to help heal the shithole, the clusterfuck we've been living in and seeing, especially in America. So we need to make sure that the people that we are investing in are actually in integrity, are transparent, and there's purity behind their medicine. And so you have to understand that, there's been a lot of spiritual bypassing going on. And that's the other thing I want to be helping people too. People who are maybe in corporate America, who are making a lot of money, but aren't in alignment or understanding where things are shifting, because things are about to shift for the better. As I shared when we first started this, things are about to shift for the better. And what this shift is love and compassion and that integrity and being part of the solution. Okay. So the health and the wellness coaching industry is only going to grow because people are really yearning for this healing and to really break free from the shackles, which is why we started this decade with a global pandemic, right? It's just literally showing us breadcrumbs that the health and wellness industry is going to become a non-negotiable, where we're seeing that health is wealth. And if that health is more than just your physical, I'm talking your mental, your spiritual, and your emotional health as well. Okay, so the way that I see it, it's a holistic relationship where all these facets are part of success, and they're part of who you are in this human experience, which is why I infuse the Kundalini Yoga for the physical aspects of it. This is why I bring in the mysticism and doing the deeper mental health, quantum healing. This is why I'm coming up with and helping with productivity and systems management to have a healthier work-life balance. My big drive that's happening right now is I feel like with this round of Thrive that I'm offering, it's like a completion of 4 years of teaching deep trauma healing, inner child work, and having that be like level 1. Okay. So we've got level 1 here. And then level 2 is going to be helping people cultivate a business and a brand that allows them to work smarter instead of harder, so that when the time comes, they can be more present and not so attached to this, right? Like we're still having to navigate through how we adjust to this in our lives. This is still very new from from humanity's time frame. Technology is still very new, and we have the opportunity to work with it to implement real change. So once we have this business and branding situation going, where you can have this intentional planning and the drive, then from here, I see where I'm going is the conscious family, conscious relationship work, so that we're not stuck in this fucking loop again of doing that deeper work that isn't even ours, that's ancestral. And I do believe we are the generation that is the bridge that say it ends now. And we can say that, there's no more room for playing small. And I don't want this to be passed down to my kids, right? The work that you're doing is going to set precedent for the 7 generations behind you and the 7 generations before you. And we still have a lot of the 7 generations behind us energy in our DNA, in our reptilian brain, the oldest brain. Like I shared in my podcast episode about the reptilians, these false light teachings, the reptilian darker energies, they are attacking us through the reptilian brain, where your unconscious, subconscious, and your nervous system is really like prominent. Okay. So if you are not doing that deeper work, this is how they're coming in and infiltrating your life. This is why we got to nip it in the bud, get shit done, and show up. Like, act as if once it's done, right? Show up and be like, that's a thing of the past. And while it's a thing of the past and I've worked through it, I have so much compassion to that younger version of me who went through it. And I want to help other people simply through my embodiment. That embodiment that is of your truth is what's going to help you align to what it is you're actually calling in, or it's even going to be better than what you're calling in. So that's where I'm saying these law of attraction teachings are outdated. Are you guys understanding that? Do you recognize that? It's about like, yes, I've done the work and I'm sharing how that experience has made me a better person. And those are the things that we need to really address and honor. And so success is going to come into this decade from here on out with your business, with your life, if you're actually embodied in your truth. Not because this mentor told you need to do this in order to be successful. Not because these spiritual teachings are shaming you. Not because there's dogma that's teaching you to, you have to be this if you want to be successful, or if you want to be worthy or appreciated or validated. So this is the big deception that's been going on. And I have so much compassion for those that have been infiltrated. And I'm choosing to not really associate with the people who aren't actually speaking up and doing the work. And luckily my soul squad, like the men and women I have in my life that have done the work and are committed and devoted and fucking woke and aware to what's actually happening, I've been able to align to them, and we're about to create some amazing shit in the future together, because this Aquarian age is about cooperation and community, and we can be in that space of community, like true community and presence with one another, when we are able to be present with ourselves first. And that has all come because I chose to take with a grain of salt and not think that the answers were outside of me. The answers are all by doing that deeper work. The answers are also when you have that support team that sees you and respects you and validates you, and there's that equal level of reciprocity there. Those are the people you need to surround yourself with. And those are the people that are going to help you go there. I live by the African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. So going alone is by trusting your own journey, trusting your own inner wisdom, in your inner guidance, clearing out the false light, the infiltrations, the spiritual teachings that really don't resonate, clearing it out of your field, having those boundaries to say like what you will and will not consent to, and taking the initiative to be brave and to show up and share your truth unapologetically. And so I just want to open up the floor now if you guys have any questions, because that was a big transmission. I'm like sweating sharing that truth. Let me see what you guys wrote. I'm honestly scared from charging high price points for the exact reason after last year. I just want to be in integrity and accessible now. Christina, I love you. Okay, so the high price points can still be offered, right? If you're actually sharing that truth, and if you're really embodied and confident in what you're sharing, and if your clients are the ones that are at that price point as well. Like I got lured into a program that was, she knew I wasn't ready for it before. I've had experiences before where it talks with this mentor that I wasn't ready for it. I was still really struggling financially because I had a dear friend of mine share with me, like a big thing that was a past life trauma was that she's like, dude, you've been a fucking shaman for lifetimes and you are never paid for your work. So I got stuck in that consciousness trap that like, I need to save and fix and help everyone. God is struck by lightning, which is the initiation of the shaman in this lifetime. And I was still like giving away everything and anything that I could without the boundaries. The thing that we need to understand right now, that while you have every right to offer big price points, are you also offering offers and opportunities that are affordable so people can get a taste of your medicine before they go out and take this big leap because you're lured by the lifestyle that's being portrayed on social media, right? Like, is that being portrayed on social media, or is it actually in integrity with who they are? A lot of people are using techniques like NLP and to lure you in. That's fucking disgusting, right? They're using these tactics to manipulate. So this is again where you have to keep practicing that discernment to say, is this actually making me feel good? Like, does this actually feel expansive for me? Or am I doing this because of scarcity, or like, I think I need this, like I'm putting power outside of something? Is this going to help enrich me? Or am I thinking the answer is out there? I thought the answer was out there. And I fell deeper and deeper into a fucking hole, maxed out a credit card, and had to pay a shit ton of interest. And because I did a resentment letter, and forgave them because that person was deeply infiltrated by the fucking false light, I feel so much better. I don't have any resentment towards them. I saw it as like a really, really big opportunity that what not to do. So that's my experience from really having some really bad investments with my business and personal development, because I thought the answers were outside of me, or this was going to bring like the validation of like, oh yeah, this is going to get me where they're going. So I wanted just to share that. Can you share more about this chakra system that's updating or evolving, or is this something that's going to be covered during Thrive? Yes, it's going to be something that's covered during Thrive. And again, the chakra system is updating and upgrading because the frequencies of our body, of our earth, are all accelerating and upgrading. So again, we're going to have essentially like 3 chakras, right? And lower triangle, which has consisted of root, sacral, solar plexus. The heart is the bridge, the upper triangle, throat, third eye, crown. Okay. This is going to be upper, lower, the heart. This is I'm going to dive deeper into this in Thrive, but you're getting a sneak peek. Lower triangle represents your physical reality. Upper triangle represents your spiritual reality. This throat chakra starts to be developed during Saturn return. So if there is still unprocessed trauma going on between the ages, again, of ancestral to about 23 to about 27, 28 is when the heart is being formed, which is why there's so much rebellion. Like right when you get out of school and all those people that are really passionate and doing like activism work and all of that, they're in this heart-centered space. And we're driven by the shit we've seen of our past, right? So we got to clear out our physical reality, lower 3 chakras. Then from there, we can live in a heart-centered, true unity consciousness baseline. And then we can speak our truth, we can see the truth, and we can radiate the truth. So that's all I'm going to go from there. We dive deeper into that, into Thrive. But if there's any other questions, let me know. So we've got a few more minutes to wrap this up. I really appreciate you all being here because it's showing me how open you are to seeing what's actually been going on. And this is something that's taken time for me to accept because it's been a mourning process. But I'm really grateful for the people that I have in my life who are seeing what I'm seeing and calling it up. So that shit can be alchemized because again, 2020 crystal vision, all this shit is being seen and revealed. And the biggest truth is that this is an experience you're going through. Your soul has chose to go through this experience during this time so that you can really make an impact in the world with your medicine. So with that being said, hold on, let's see what you guys have said. This is really good. I'm ready to move beyond all the gunk. It's been hard to accept this truth in the healing community. Yes, yes, yes. It's been really validating why I haven't invested in so many other offers. Yeah, your discernment is on fleek, girl. So I just, again, my intention here isn't to slander, but it's to bring awareness and to share through my own experience genuinely, authentically. And because I've been able to like share this episode with you or this webinar with you, it's been a really beautiful testament to myself of how far I've come. And I'm embodied in my truth. And so I'm choosing again to close out that chapter in my life by offering this last round of Thrive. I've had this, I made this program extremely affordable because of quarantine. I really want you all to do this deep work. This has been a beautiful time to do the deep work. Most businesses, like successful businesses that we've seen, have been activated and started during like a recession or a time like this. And we're definitely in a wild recession, even though it hasn't really been announced yet, but it's a lot going on. So I've offered a more affordable opportunity this round. It's the last time I'm hosting this in a group setting because I'm, again, shifting into branding and business and marketing productivity and really having that intention go through. But just remember, like, the bigger thing here is really be discerning on who you're following and really see if they're actually impacting your life in a really positive way by being themselves, or is it just like a really shiny object, right? Is this a shiny object that is keeping you trapped or keeping you doubting yourself or thinking that the answer is outside of you? Thank you for being such a relatable example. Your energy is so beautiful and bright without having that artificial shine that seems to be everywhere with other healers and leaders. Thanks, babe. It's taken me a lot of time to get to this place and speak it so confidently and empowered, you know, but I'm just tired of seeing like beautiful souls being manipulated and infiltrated and all this shit. So I'm just going to share with you all a quick breakdown of what each chapter is. If you're feeling aligned to work with me in a very affordable holding space. Carly's in the house. Carly's going to be one of my Thrive alumni that's going to be on my IGTV, where you're going to hear her experience. And I love this woman to pieces. She was on my first ever round to Thrive, and we've become friends. And like I said, now she's like teaching at the studio that like I worked with. I was just so fucking proud of her, like Mama Bear over here. So I'm really excited. And you're going to also have lifetime access to this upgraded material. And I'm really excited to see like what comes from this. If this is still like too high of a price point for you, after this round, I'm going to be offering Thrive again, but there won't be the coaching experience. So we won't have that beautiful community that really comes from group experiences that really helps you feel supported, and you create lifelong friendships. Like I have so many friends. Actually, Christina's one of them. I've had so many friends that I've done programs with that have been allowing, because we've gone through shit together, there's integrity in the relationships. And a lot of people I've done courses with in the past, we're also collaborating on projects and stuff. So it's really amazing. So I'm just going to share with you a quick breakdown of what this entails. So chapter 1, again, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about what is really, your journey and the wisdom that comes from it. So I'm talking about the Shamanessa Gadessa medicine wheel that I've created. I'm talking about like understanding what this new paradigm is, and how we can really start to pave that path to greatness and starting to put the pieces together. And then week 2, we're going to be talking about transmuting victim consciousness and understanding what it really takes to actualize your dreams and desires. For module 2, we're going to be talking about those core wounds and the traumas in order to reclaim your power and rewrite your stories. This is where I'm talking deeper about the lower triangle and how we're also evolving. Week 4, we're talking about honoring your lineage by transcending the generational traumas, beliefs, and conditions. So again, you get to say like, I'm the sacred disruptor in my lineage's life. It ends with me and the path that I'm paving ahead for not just me, but for my children and their children and their children and their children. If that's the path you decide to choose, having children, go for it. Chapter 3, we're talking about breaking free from the consciousness traps and the outdated and infiltrated spiritual teaching. So you got it. Pretty much this webinar was a huge sneak peek of what I'm teaching there, because this is a new module I'm putting in Thrive, because it's something that's really, really important to break free from once and for all. And then for week 6, we're talking about activating your 10 bodies, cultivating energetic boundaries, and balancing your masculine and feminine energies to embody your truth. So the 10 bodies are part of tantric numerology. By understanding your 10 bodies, you're going to be able to get into the space where you can understand what your strengths and weaknesses are, and how you can go for it. That's probably that and the lower triangle are my 2 favorite things from Kundalini Yoga that like has revolutionized my life. And so to be sharing that with you. And also the upgraded system of like masculine, feminine energies, this alpha, omega energy for you to be in, have that solid container to allow the opportunities that you're calling in to come through. And then week 7, we're talking about awakening the sacred disruptor by really reclaiming your power back and protecting your energy. A lot of these spiritual teachings have also been infiltrated, hard to share, especially if some of you are Reiki certified, but Reiki has been an infiltrated system because a lot of people are using these symbols that have been infiltrated, because they start doing these symbols, they don't close out the container, energy leaks happen, and shit gets infiltrated. And then chapter 4, which I'm really excited to share, this is about cosmically aligning your mission and how you can show up to serve by honoring the phases of the Luna and the astro season. So this is like whole session on astrology, and you can start implementing this. And maybe you have a business right now, but how you can start working with these cosmic energies to work for you and with you, so that you can go and really be of service and create, not only create content that supports each of the astrological seasons that can support the work that you're doing, but more so how you can start understanding these energies and seeing them as opportunities, as medicine. Because I think a lot of us have also put a lot of false gods in like the moon and things like that. And we need to see that these are tools. It's not like it's a false god, like praising the moon. We can work with the moon. because the energy does infiltrate us. And if we're giving away our power again to something outside of us, we're setting ourselves up for disaster. So there's two options for Thrive. You can either do pay in full option for $497, or there's 2 monthly payments of $297. Again, I made this extremely affordable for quarantine and to just like make the most of this year, because I really want you to finish this year strong. That's why I asked you when you first came on, like, what is your intention for the rest of the year? And with that, we're getting bi-weekly group coaching calls, which happens on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. You're getting each of those weeks, you're getting a pre-recorded video and really, really in-depth questions. Ask Carly. I'll go deep on those reflection questions. And you're also going to get with each chapter, so each 2-week period, you're going to get a Kundalini meditation pre-recorded. And as a bonus, anyone who signs up from this webinar, you're going to get a free tantric numerology report that I'm going to put together for you, so you can understand the energy and what's going on, to really help you with that tantric numerology session that we're going into. And we're also going to have a group support team. I had it set up on Facebook, but I've been feeling a lot of Facebook energy being infiltrated. So I'm looking at bringing the platform to a new network called Mighty Networks, which is what one of my coaches worked with. But I just want to make sure that the energy and the container and the environment is pure as we go through these upgrades and these transmissions to really shake shit up. The start date, the doors are closing on next Sunday. So a week from today, you're going to start getting the content starting Monday, the 17th. And then our first group coaching call is going to be the 18th. Okay, so this may not be a question for this space, but I did Reiki level 1 and I never really resonated with it. I know you've mentioned that you've cleared it out of your system. How do you do that? Okay, so I actually got that system cleared out by the only spiritual teacher I go to for energetic clearings. Her name is Freedom Franklin. I've had multiple Thrive alumni and clients that have worked with her. I'm actually doing a course right now with Freedom, and I have a Thrive alumni in there with me. So that's what's super fun. But I can share. So if you check freedomfranklin.com, she has a false light webinar that's free that I really suggest you all take to start clearing out this energetic shit. And then I don't remember with one of her other webinars, she had like a Reiki attunement drop off. I don't remember if it was her winter or spring, but that's my girl. I have no problem promoting her. And that's the other thing, you know, when you can be in this space of authenticity and integrity, you can have no problem helping out and sharing your friend's shit. Like I send everyone to her, and that's because I love her and I believe in the work that she's doing, and I've been able to clear out the bullshit that I've sent tons and tons of people her way. So just really, again, be discerning on the people you follow. Are there any other questions that we have? I'm going to put the link right now in the comments if you want to look more into Thrive. There is, I do have limited space available because I want to make sure that we can really be in this container together, and I can be present for the transformation you guys are all going through, because once you go through Thrive, like massive things shift in your life. Again, I love that Carly's here. I love you, lady. But this was an experience that really helped me, and it's become like a baseline for all the teachings that I've done. So if there's any other questions, is there any other questions? We feeling good? And again, the doors are closing next Sunday. I'm really excited for this round to close out this chapter and to move forward and to help this community that I've had built and have here on social media come with me on this next phase and focus more on the really working with the cosmic forces and cosmically aligning your business and life so that we can work with the same elements that made us and really implement this change and live out our soul's mission. So it looks like there aren't any other questions, but I thank you all, and send me a DM if you guys have any other questions. And also, once I'm done with this 3-week social media sabbatical, finishing writing the book and coming up with a whole new content plan and everything. I'm also opening up my doors again for one-on-one, and those are for people who have been doing the work and are ready to start implementing the business and branding strategies and really honing in deeper with integrity. So I love you all. Thank you all for being here. And I hope this resonated with you. Let me know how it supported you. And I would love to see you in Thrive. And if not, I appreciate you for being on this journey with me, and we'll chat soon. Take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.